Mamdani has made a 4th of July speech, and it is very telling. Incredibly telling. He talks about how great it is to be an immigrant. He talks about how awful it is to be an American, but yet he uplifts American ideals. And yet, isn't he trying to change all of those ideals into something else entirely? I want to go through this speech. I might cut a little bit of it. It is 15 minutes long, but I'm going to just have some commentary to make, because somehow people are listening to this and hearing it as a great, awesome thing.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. Season after season, year after year, the tides have come in and out of New York Harbor. Long before the name New York had ever been spoken, Lenape dugouts crossed these currents. It was on these waters that tall masts crested the horizon.
I love his attention to the history in this as well. Like, long before this had ever happened and so on and so forth. But he keeps saying we and our. Long before your family had ever moved to America, these things had happened, and yet he keeps taking credit for things, saying we and our. It's very frustrating. You know, I wouldn't go to Britain and talk about how we colonized parts of the other world, how we had the widest spanning empire in the history of the world, because I wouldn't be a British person, even if I moved there. So it's super weird to say that. Like how it's weird when women talk about how oppressed they used to be as if it's some ongoing thing, or how black people talk about how they're treated, how we were treated after Vietnam, after World War II in slavery. But that wasn't you, though. You're not part of that we. That was other black people. That was other women. It's not you. You're not part of that we. This guy wasn't part of any kind of we that he's talking about. It's all just imaginary.
Captained by explorers like Verrazano and Hudson, after whom we've named our bridges and rivers.
We.
And ever since, ships full of travelers weary from long journeys have passed through the Narrows, the winds of the Atlantic at their backs. When those passengers lifted their heads to glimpse what lies just beyond the waves, what did they see? They saw land, lush and teeming with life. They saw men waiting at the docks to take them into bondage. They saw tenements rife with squalor. They saw industry rumbling with activity, steam and smoke rising, a city on the move. They saw a towering monument to freedom, her torch glowing worldwide welcome.
I mean, that's a really positive way to spin it. There's a lot of downsides to New York, if you read through the history of it.
They saw New York City. They saw America. Tomorrow, our nation marks 250 years since we declared our independence. 250 years of a grand experiment in self-governance, an experiment so audacious that some in 1776 doubted it would last more than a few years, let alone a quarter of a millennium. From Lexington to Los Angeles, Selma to Seneca Falls, Morrisania to Midwood, Americans will come together for a day, just as we do each year.
Last year, a bunch of people decided to try and shoot, was it an ICE officer or whatever, at the Prairie Land thing that went on, right? Like those people, they ambushed ICE, and they were going to actually try and free some of the illegal immigrants who had been detained, right? That's what they were doing on July 4th. I bet they voted for Mamdani, or would have if they lived in New York.
Families will gather around the grill. Fireworks will fill the night sky. This will be no ordinary day of celebration. 250 years presents a rare opportunity for more than 340 million people to turn together, both towards one another and towards ourselves.
Actually, you could do that literally every moment of every day. There's nothing special about the year 250. You could just choose to be a good person whenever. But, okay.
To take measure of who we are as a nation. When we look at America, what do we see? Here at City Hall, as I sit behind George Washington's desk, alongside new Americans who came to this country, I cannot see all of America.
Well, what I see, and you said, what do we see? Are you saying we as in Americans, or we as in you and I? Because I think you and I are different in what we see here. What I see is a communist born in Africa, Uganda, who has studied Africana history, who was raised by an Indian father who grew up mostly in Uganda during an era of segregation, who also studied in Africana history, and was flown over to America during one of the ridiculous programs we had to bring in Africans to learn from our universities, most of which who went back to Africa afterwards. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a African communist who's trying to uproot and upend New York City and turn it into something else by deliberately surrounding themselves with a bunch of black and brown people. Of course, there's loads of immigrants that come to the USA, right? But they didn't choose any white people, didn't choose any yellow people. They chose these people. The woman on the left, you can't see her entirety right now, but she can't even be asked to hold the flag upright. It's just too much effort for her to even pretend to care about America.
But like so many who came before, I can see New York City. The city I see today looks very different than the one that greeted George Washington. In July of 1776, our city simmered under the yoke of oppression. The British had imposed a colonial rule so repressive that 250 years ago, 80 miles south, a small group of newspaper editors, farmers, and soldiers signed their names on a document declaring truths that feel self-evident now, but were revolutionary then.
Yeah, the thing about self-evident truths, I mean, look at the 14th Amendment. I think it's pretty self-evident that the beginning of the section 1 of the 14th Amendment says born or naturalized. Naturalized very clearly meaning that someone has to be a citizen of the country, and yet people like Mamdani would spin the born aspect to mean that anyone anywhere can come to America, have a baby, and it's magically an American citizen. The self-evident truth is that when it says born or naturalized, it clearly means born to a citizen. But you see, when you have people who are willing to lie to get what they want, to twist reality, to shape whatever whim they have, then there's no such thing as self-evident truths.
Establishing the ideals our nation still strives to fulfill. The British did not take it well. War broke out. And that August, as the largest battle of the Revolutionary War unfolded in Brooklyn, batteries on Governor's Island took aim at British ships anchored just offshore. We were outgunned, we were outmanned, and we were soundly defeated. After only a few months, it appeared our fledgling attempt at democracy was on the precipice of collapse.
Hear how many times he's saying we and our, even though he wasn't alive at all during this time frame, and his parents weren't alive, nor was his family living in America, for that matter.
But that night, with the moon overhead, thousands of our soldiers silently climbed into ferries and flat-bottom boats and escaped to Manhattan. The Continental Army survived to fight another day. Independence may have been declared in Philadelphia, but it was rescued in New York City. George Washington was the last to leave Brooklyn. As he waited at the river's edge, the sun beginning its rise, he would have looked out over New York City's waters and seen what so many have seen in the 250 years since. An opportunity to begin anew.
And that's what he's twisting it all into. He's twisting the entire concept of America, the country of America, as a way to escape the country you're from and begin anew. He's seeing America as a place to run to hide away. It's a little hovel for you to escape from all the cruel realities of Africa or from Asia or from wherever that you happen to be coming from. That's not what America is. I mean, it is what it was when it was founded, but it's no longer what America is. America is now something else entirely, and these people clinging on to what it was hundreds of years ago, as if it's never going to change, as if it can't change, as if it's some sort of reality bending aspect for the country to have its laws changed to fit some other narrative. Like, America can't keep bringing in infinite immigrants. Isn't that obvious? But here he's trying to frame it as if infinite immigrants is the correct choice, and he will later as well in this speech.
Opportunities, like everything in New York City, are not given. They are won.
Not given, but won. That's ironic coming from a communist.
In 1838, 11 years after New York outlawed slavery, a recently emancipated black man by the name of James Weeks sought to begin anew as well, and to help hundreds of others do the same. He bought property in Brooklyn, won himself the right to vote, and sold lots to others newly freed.
Right, he won himself the right to vote, and then he sold those lots to other people who were newly freed. That's interesting framing, given what he just said about things being won and not given.
When they landed in New York Harbor, they knew they had something waiting for them.
Well, only if they had the money to pay for it, though, right?
They had never had before: a home. Weeksville still stands today, a living, breathing testament to what we know America to be, a place each of us has the power to make. The harbor was busy those years as ships poured in from around the world. Hundreds of thousands of Irish immigrants arrived with stomachs aching from a famine manufactured by imperial cruelty. Chinese sailors settled in what is today Chinatown.
Note that he didn't mention anything about China being an empire or China being a communistic place that the Chinese people were trying to run away from. The Irish people were running away from horrible, awful Britain, but the Chinese people, they were just, what were they running from again? Well, yeah, you wouldn't want to say anything bad about communist China, would you, Mamdani?
Millions more traveled under the Statue of Liberty and through Ellis Island. Jewish people escaping pogroms, Italians fleeing poverty, Syrians seeking economic opportunity.
So any reason then, basically. So economic opportunity, that's enough of a reason to let people into the country? They want money. That's enough to come to America. We should let infinite immigrants in because they want money? Okay, that makes sense.
Each of these new arrivals peered through portholes onto a city that was changing as fast as the nation. They saw merchants peddling their wares on the docks, streets being laid out on a grid, buildings rising into the clouds. They could not yet see the nativism they would face, the jobs they would be refused, the landlords who would not rent to them, and the abject labor and living conditions they would
Note that he said nativism. He didn't say racism, but he's framing it as racism.
withstand. But no matter how much smog hung over the harbor, they still saw an opportunity to begin anew. Over the years that followed, despite laws enacted by the federal government to bar their entry.
Remember, America, old America's perfect, and now he's saying that America is a nativist, aka racist country, and that the federal government is barring the entry of immigrants, which he doesn't like.
Despite sweatshop fires that killed hundreds of women, despite riots aimed at their very existence, immigrants made homes here in New York City, and they helped to make New York City.
Sounds like he's kind of describing some sort of parasite, doesn't it? Like, the country is trying to keep them out. The people of the country are trying to keep them out. The government of the country is trying to keep them out, and yet they still find a way in, and they can't be gotten rid of. Isn't that more or less like he's describing a weed, really, isn't he? And he's not really saying anything positive about them. He's saying that they are fleeing their problems to come to America. They want to come to America because of poverty, because they want better economic prosperity and such. So what does America get out of it exactly?
That legacy of every generation of Americans insisting that the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness extends to them too, is no relic of the past.
Yeah, except your party is the one that's in championing the abortion, right? You said right to life, didn't you?
It carried millions of Black Americans north during the Great Migration. It drew hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans to New York City after the Second World War. It invited countless others from the West Indies and South Asia and West Africa and across the world.
Invite is a strong way to word that, I think.
And it is what brought my family to this city when I was 7 years old.
Yes, the Kennedy Airlift Program. It's a really ridiculous thing.
My family did not arrive by boat, although we saw the Statue of Liberty from the window of the plane. Even from the air, we could make out the promise of America, the promise of the beautiful patriotic work.
There's no way in hell a 7-year-old understood anything about what was happening. Like, we know that, right? This is just total BS.
Of rendering America, year after year, a little more faithful to its founding ideals.
Faithful to its founding ideals, says the person who's trying to completely change those ideals.
There is a term so often used to describe our nation and those who have shaped it.
Our.
American exceptionalism. American exceptionalism, the conventional wisdom tells us, makes our freedom a little more free, is how we dug the Erie Canal and irrigated the West, is why children in faraway lands grow up dreaming of one day moving here. And yet the irony is that the story of America has so often been written by those who were told by others with power and influence and wealth that they were anything but exceptional. For generation after generation, we have been told that when the world has sent its people to our shores, it has not sent its best. It sent Puritans and Sikhs and Quakers and Muslims and Jewish people who were banished for praying the wrong way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Worshipping the wrong gods.
Yep.
Angering the wrong people.
Yep.
It sent peasants and serfs from slums and shtetls.
You literally just said the same exact thing yourself, didn't you? You said that starving people were coming from Ireland and Italy, people coming over from China and such, simply because they wanted more money. That was your own definition. And you said it as a good thing, right?
Who were treated as less because they hardly owned clothes, let alone land.
No shit. Wow. I can't believe that people were angry that random people from other countries were coming over to their country for money and land. That sounds like invaders and conquerors, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like people coming over to make the country a better place. It sounds like people coming over to make their own life better. What a surprise that this would anger someone.
It sent immigrants from whom power was something someone else had.
And power is what you're trying to take from them.
We are told that America is exceptional because we are richer, stronger.
We keep saying we.
More powerful than everyone else.
But he is the person who came over with the wrong God, the person who came over with the wrong ideals, the person who came over and angered everyone, right? He's the person who came over and took the power.
The truth, my friends, is that America is exceptional because here, nothing is fixed into place. The frontier may be closed, we may have walked on the moon, but the work of fulfilling the values first enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, that work endures, and it belongs to us all.
Does it? So the Declaration of Independence of America, but that belongs to everybody, does it? It belongs to everybody in the world, does it? Uh-huh. And you need to make sure that declaration never changes. So we needed someone from Africa, born of Indian parents, to come to the USA and make sure that we didn't stray from our own path. Sure.
It belongs too to our newest Americans, those standing here with me today, all of whom were recently naturalized. Nearly a decade ago, I too felt what you feel, the joy of no longer being just a New Yorker, but an American too. You each hold a special power, the power to determine what America means.
He's talking specifically to naturalized immigrants right there, just to be clear. He's not talking to Americans, he's talking to naturalized immigrants. The naturalized immigrants have the power to change America, like he's trying to do, like he's doing.
The powerful have always known their answer. America, in their view, is an arena of supremacy, where only a select few are allowed freedom, where not all are created equal.
That's total horseshit, of course. I mean, if that was the case, then why did we fight a civil war to free the slaves? If that's true, then why is it that women are now allowed to walk around naked in front of children without getting arrested? Why are they allowed to abort all of their kids? This is the part of the speech where he goes into talking about how awful America is, but he's addressing all of these complaints towards the rich people and the politicians and so forth, the people he's trying to tear down, because you need to tear those people down in order to take power, to steal power, which is what he and others like him are trying to do.
America, if you ask them, becomes less the more people it welcomes. America, they will tell you, belongs only to those with the right accent or the right shade of skin.
When did anyone welcome these people? Did anyone welcome them? Did they ask to come over? How many of these people came over seeking asylum, which they weren't really even seeking? They just used asylum as a loophole. How many people claim that they're a refugee when they weren't really a refugee? How many got BS'd in on some green card visa from some anchor baby? How many people are here for their own sake? Just phrasing it so that they're the victim. But they're not victims.
The rest of us, they insist, should be grateful for merely being allowed to visit.
No, I think actually you should be deported. Back to Uganda.
How small they are. How weak. How unoriginal.
Right from the horse's mouth. There is Zohran Mamdani, mayor of New York, telling you that Americans are small, weak, and unoriginal unless they accept infinite immigrants into their country. That's him saying it. He's telling you that you need to obey him, or else he will insult you. Right there, sitting behind the desk. I don't know, it's turned around facing the wrong direction for some reason, but he'll sit there and insult you unless you allow infinite immigrants. And mind you, it's not yellow people. It's brown people and black people. People from his neck of the woods. Muslims.
At every moment in our past, those who led through exclusion and isolation have tried to win power and enrich themselves by turning us against one another.
And this is where it's just so, what did he say? Unoriginal? I think that's what he said, right? It was unoriginal.
Division is the oldest trick in politics, and the cheapest. But time and again, including 250 years ago, those forces of division have been vanquished by the forces of progress.
And I can only hope that we vanquish you. Now keep in mind what he just said. Division, the oldest trick in the book, and the cheapest.
As Thomas Paine once wrote, "This new world hath been the asylum for the persecuted lovers of civil and religious liberty. Hither have they fled." And yet today, too many of our leaders do not believe in a vision of this nation.
The leaders of America, our leaders, as he put it, don't believe in a vision of America that he approves of. Remember, division.
As an asylum for the persecuted.
That's right. America needs to be an asylum for the persecuted. We need to be the orphanage of every baby. We need to be the retreat of every poor person. We need to be the salvation of the world, because America is God, right?
But rather, as one that persecutes those seeking asylum.
When? When do we persecute people seeking asylum? We don't go out of our way we don't go to other countries and persecute people seeking asylum, do we? You're saying that having a border means persecuting people? Is that what, so a wall is persecution? Really?
As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions.
Division. Division's the oldest and cheapest trick.
We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry, while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more.
The oldest and cheapest trick.
We see monopolies that dominate every industry and oligarchs who buy elections.
The oldest and cheapest trick.
We see masked agents terrorizing our streets, eating food cooked by our undocumented neighbors before spiriting them away in unmarked vans.
The oldest and cheapest trick. Not to mention really stupid and petty. You're telling me that if you don't want people in your country, you're not allowed to eat food from other countries? Okay. Well, I mean, considering that you want to go down that route, we'd like all our iPhones back. Yeah, you're not allowed to use them anymore once you've been deported to Uganda. I'm afraid you'll just have to use whatever Uganda has.
We see a nation whose immense wealth has been built by those with calloused, dirt-streaked hands.
Division. Cheap. Simple. And also exactly what he's doing right now.
Those who toil on factory floors and chisel into stone. And we see a nation that has allowed so much of that wealth to be held instead in the soft hands of a precious few.
I mean, look at this right now and tell me that how can you hear what he's saying and not see how obvious it is? And yet I've seen lots of people reacting to this positively, saying it's one of the greatest speeches of all time and stuff. A lot of soy boy white guys and obviously a lot of women. And that woman still hasn't lifted that flag up, by the way. She can't bring herself to do it because she hates America, clearly. I mean, what other reason? Like, all you have to do is stand there and hold the flag up. Like, everyone else is doing it. Even the woman he's next to, who's got very shaky arms. I don't know if she's got some sort of Parkinson's or something, but everyone else can do it. Why can't you?
Yes, we see America in a health insurance industry that exploits the sick, but that is not all we see when we look for America. We see it too in the nurse who works a double shift and then stops on her way home to check on an ailing neighbor. Yes, we see America in corporate landlords for whom negligence is a business model. We see it too in the father who tucks his children into bed beneath a ceiling stained with leaks, who wakes before dawn to go to work and still believes his country can do better by his family. Yes, we see America when we spend our tax dollars on bombs and bailouts, when we sell our elections to the highest bidder. Yet we see it just as clearly in every American who still believes this country belongs to we, the people. We see America each time neighbors link arms with neighbors, without asking how long they have lived here, or what.
And you can see every single time this forked-tongued snake opens his mouth, he says that America is bad, but immigrants are good. All of the narratives he's giving about good people are about the poor people, just looking for economic prosperity. And what did he say earlier about all the people coming over from Ireland, from China, from Italy? They're all poor people, looking for prosperity, looking for a better life. So obviously, they're the nurses. They're the men toiling away in factories. And the Americans, they're the rich people. They're the evil people. He's telling the poor, disenfranchised immigrants to conquer America. That's what he's saying.
Papers they have as ICE invades our neighborhoods.
Invades. The federal agents of the country are invading your neighborhoods. Your meaning what? Muslim-owned neighborhoods, the ones that the Jews own. What exactly? What exactly is your neighborhood? What do you own, Mamdani?
We see America each time those young and old stand in the beating rain or the stifling heat to cast their ballots. We see America each time working people demand more, not just for themselves, but for their fellow Americans.
Yeah, no, it's for themselves. They're not demanding more for the sake of other people.
There are some who respond to those who ask for more from America with a simple refrain. Love it or leave it, they say.
Yes. Yeah. What's wrong with that? I'm sorry. What's wrong with that? I mean, you've all left your country. But where's the but?
But patriotism has never been about pretending our nation is without flaws.
Ah, well, but you've said America was so great, and now you're trying to change America into something else.
Patriotism is every act of righteous dissent.
And that's what everyone's quoting for their taglines and their videos. Patriotism is righteous dissent. Yeah, that's right. Patriotism is righteous dissent. But what if the country doesn't allow you dissent? A lot of countries don't allow people to dissent. Would it be patriotism then, as you're gunned down by the federal agents in the streets? When you talk about how evil our agents are when they invade your neighborhoods and deport you back to where you came from, and that's an act of evil. But patriotism is trying to usurp the country, to try and overthrow it. Weren't you talking about declarations of independence and such earlier? So how can you suddenly talk about dissent being righteous? Overthrowing America is righteous. That's what he's saying.
It is every march led under the heavy sun. It is every protest held a decade before its time. It is precisely because we love this nation that we will not leave it.
We will not leave it. Well, not willingly anyway.
After all, who loves America more than those who have sacrificed so much to make it free?
But who exactly is the we he keeps talking about here? All this time he's talking about things that happened hundreds of years ago, right? He keeps saying we and our. Did you sacrifice anything to make it free? Mamdani, did you? No, I didn't think so.
Today, I think not only of the 4th of July, I think too of the 9th of July. 5 days after the Declaration of Independence was signed, it arrived here in our New York City. Redcoats had disembarked on Staten Island. More than 100 British ships loomed just offshore. Across this city, the Continental Army prepared for an invasion. George Washington commanded his brigades to assemble just a few feet from this building. It was known then as the Commons. Today, we call it City Hall Park. There, within range of British guns, Washington ordered his generals to read the Declaration aloud. And with the world's mightiest empire poised to attack, Washington told the people of New York City what we will celebrate tomorrow, that we had declared our independence.
Our independence. But this time, the our isn't Americans being independent from Britain, is it? This time, it's the communist immigrants coming over, the Muslims coming over, and declaring their independence from America, right? Isn't that what he's saying? He's declaring his independence. They're declaring their independence from America. And it's only a matter of time.
That freedom was within reach.
And there it is.
That evening, danger loomed. Conflict was not a question, but a certainty. And yet when those early New Yorkers marched toward the statue of King George III that stood in the Bowling Green, a statue they would melt down into bullets for their young army, they walked in unison, grounded not in the pursuit of plunder, but in ideals that for the first time had a name: America. Those ideals upon which our nation was built. They are strong enough to endure any authoritarian regime, but only if we reach for them. Ours is a nation working each day towards the perfection in which it was conceived. A nation striving each day to better itself.
Note right there that he said the nation was conceived in perfection. And again, all he's trying to do is change it.
Therein lies the work of America. The striving, the bettering, the reaching towards perfection.
What do we need to reach for? You just said it was conceived in perfection, and now we have to strive for perfection.
What a privilege each of us has to live in a nation that every one of its inhabitants can shape. What a responsibility each of us possesses to prove ourselves worthy of all those who came before. What power each of us holds to bring America ever closer to the greatness so many have seen when they looked upon these shores.
Sorry, what? Could you just say that again real quick?
Who came before. What power each of us holds to bring America ever closer to the greatness so many have seen when they looked upon these shores.
But I thought it was conceived in perfection. And then you're striving wait. He just said we have the power to try and make America great again? Isn't that what he just said?
America ever closer to the greatness so many have seen when they looked upon these shores.
We have to make America closer to the greatness that so many have seen when they looked upon these shores. So we're less great than we were. Is that what he's saying? We're less great than we were. America was perfect, and now it's less perfect. And now we have to make it perfect again, in accordance to what he believes.
The greatness that, for 250 years, has been America.
What? Now I'm confused. Did we get less great, or did we get more great, or did we stay just as great as we were? I'm confused here, Mamdani.
Thank you. God bless America. God bless New York City. And happy 4th of July.
God. And of course, by God, he means Allah, his God, not America's God. Now, see, here's the thing. That woman never lifted that flag up, as far as I am aware. Just couldn't bring herself to do it. This is the biggest crock of shite I've ever heard in my life. This is just total communist BS. He's talking about division, telling you straight to your face that it's the oldest trick in the book, and then he immediately starts spieling about division, immediately starts telling you about how rich Americans, bad, poor immigrants, good, immigrants spending their money on military, bad, poor immigrants, good. I mean, he's basically telling you to take away all of the richness of America, take away all of the military of America, and let in infinite immigrants. It's so blatant, and yet people love it. And I want to show you this. This is a clip of a young girl giving out some cookies and bars of what, I don't know, protein bars or something, candy bars, I don't know, in Turkey. Now, I can't speak Turkish, so I don't exactly know what's being said, but it's pretty obvious from what happens how things are going. And hopefully this music is not copyright.
Bugün Eyüp Sultan'da cookie ve çikolataları dağıtmaya çalıştım.
Now, I'm going to show you that clip one more time. Pay attention. And that's basically what it boils down to, doesn't it? I mean, look at that girl's face. Even this is Reddit, by the way. Even the Redditors hate this. The Redditors, the hyper left wing. I mean, they're not quite as bad as Blue Sky, but Reddit's extremely left, and even they were not happy about it. Look at this woman. She's happy. We just pillaged a little girl. This is fun. 1.1 thousand upvotes on Reddit, of all things. And you can see this woman as well. She actually, she bends over right there. Do you think, oh, she dropped something or whatever, maybe? She picks it up, and oh, she's putting it back. She's putting back whatever she dropped, right? Oh, no, wait, she's got two now. No, she just reached for another one. And look at her, smiling. Fat cow, sitting there, stealing food from some little girl who's trying to give, she's trying to give, I mean, it's a kid. She's like 12. She's just trying to give away food to all these people. And you have all of these fat women coming up in their hijabs, taking everything she has in seconds. I don't know, this old man gets very mad at them. I mean, that girl has no idea what's happening, but she's obviously sad. She's obviously concerned, and this is going to be her role model. Like, she's not looking to men as her role model. She's a girl. These are her role models. And I'm not saying we're much better here in the West, where our role models for little girls are all hookers, but this girl is going to grow up with those women as her role model. And that's basically what this communist power grab is. You're trying in your philanthropy to help all of these immigrants, the infinite immigrants you're giving your goodwill towards. They don't have any goodwill back towards you. They are just going to take and take and take and take and take until you have nothing left. You give them all of your money, they'll take all of your money. Give them all of your food, they'll take all of your food. Give them all of your land, they'll take all of your land. You give them your power, and then they have nothing left to take. And when they have nothing left to take, what use do they have for you? They'll be done with you, and they're not going to treat you the same way that you treated them because they hate you. They have no culture that makes them care for you, no culture of charity. They are just going to take from you. By and large, anyway. Obviously, like, I hate having to preface everything. I'm obviously not talking about every single immigrant. I'm sure this kid and that old guy seems to be quite upset about this as well, and I'm sure they were out there just trying to do a good thing. But when you have cultures of people or religions of people who do not act in the same way as your country, they are not going to assimilate in your country, especially when they're allowed to form enclaves where they only exist around others like them inside of your country, and then they turn your country into something else, like a disease spreading. This is not going to help America. This isn't enriching America. You know what this is? It's a bunch of goddamn seagulls fighting over food. They don't care about you. They have no emotions towards you. They have no emotions towards your culture, towards your religion, towards your government. They came over to take. And once upon a time, everyone came to the New World to take. The natives were genocided, the land was pillaged. That's what happened back then. But now America is a country. It wasn't a country back then, it was formed into a country. And the country was not founded on the concept of allowing infinite immigrants to exploit the country. It was not founded on destroying yourself in order to give altruism towards others, to help everyone, to give everything you have away to other people. That is not why America was founded. Everything Mamdani said is this deluded narrative. Well, it's not deluded, actually. He's trying to manipulate people, but he's trying to manipulate delusional people. Everything he's saying is this narrative that America exists as some sort of font of happiness and wealth and prosperity for the entire world, that America should be subservient to the entire world and help everyone. It's not possible. America is not a god. America is just a country, and it's one that will in time fail as well. I mean, you must have seen videos about our aquifer drying up and stuff like that. Like, we don't have infinite resources ourselves. We can't just give away our power to these people coming over and taking from us. America simply cannot suffice to live like this. It doesn't matter what random people from foreign countries call us. Why should we care? Why should we care what some Ugandan man calls us? If he wants to call us mean words, who cares? Who cares? If he's in Uganda, who cares? It doesn't matter to us, right? That's the way it should be. But instead, they constantly guilt trip us, and it always works because of all of the bleeding heart liberals, all of the soy boys, all of the Karens opening up the borders for everybody. These women who have no control over their own emotions, who haven't had control over their emotions, their hands totally off the reins since the first time they hit puberty, and their empathy is running rampant, allowing other women and the poor people and children and whatever to get anything they want because, oh, boo-hoo, my feelings. It can't be allowed to persist. Because just look at this. This is what they want America to be. A bunch of people who look like they're being held at gunpoint, one of which won't even hold the flag up. Only one is even smiling. And she's the whitest looking one of all, so of course she's smiling. Awesome. Looking forward to that, America. Anyway, I ended up doing the whole 15-minute video anyway, because it kind of felt disrespectful not to. So, thank you for watching. I know it's a bit of a longer one, but if you enjoyed, please do the YouTube things.